which if you do the math, if this comes back, say it comes back down to the 500 million level, if you do the math and this thing peaks at a similar market cap that Shiba did, then we would have, do the math, right? We have zero point 0.5, divide that by 40. So 40 divided by zero point 0.5, that's 80x. All right, guys, man, here it is. We have Pepe finally climbing up on what we call the volatility zone. This is when we track patterns in the market. So reference patterns. In this case, we are tracking Shiba. And man, it's been good to us. Shiba has been tracking, or Pepe has been tracking Shiba for the last, since May. Since May, it's been tracking it. It came down to the levels we had talked about. And now we're starting to see it climb back up. So this is how we know, man, the algorithm is doing its thing. It's just rinsing and repeating at this point. And yeah, this I think is the start to what could be one of the biggest plays of the year. Pepe, guys, was introduced in May on Binance. And one of the things that I talk about here is how these guys do it, right? With when it hits the big exchange, that's how you know that a lot of volume is going to be coming in. They're going to be pumping Pepe all over the place, right? So that people buy at the peak. But then what happens after that? It gets rugged. And now that we're seeing it climb back up following this massive accumulation phase that just took place, okay, this is where I think there's going to be a pretty big opportunity. So Pepe is up a little bit over 70% from the bottom. And if we do the math, right, on that last video that you just saw, it went up from the $500 million market cap, it went up 80x. But Pepe did actually hit a little bit lower than the $500 million market cap. So this thing went down 80-something percent from the peak. Okay, or 70-something. Yeah, 80-something percent. Almost 86%. Very similar to Shiba, right? 83%. Okay, from the peak. And this is not looking at the swaps chart as well that we had on Pepe. So one of the things I found here too is that this is actually not the Binance chart on Shiba, and it looks more accurate than what we're seeing right now, because Pepe, this is the BingX, right? BingX chart, very similar to the Binance one, but this is the swaps contract chart down here on Shiba, and it looks a lot more accurate. For some reason, man, some of these charts just it's a little sketchy. It's a little sketchy. Not gonna lie. Okay, so what do I see happening here in the next few days? Okay, so the crypto run just started here, in my opinion. I think this is just the start. I think there might be a stage here once we start to cross these major levels. We can see down here that Shiba did it pretty quickly. It did it in like 3 days, and it came up to the highs, right? So if we're going to see something similar happen here on Pepe, doesn't have to be 1-to-1, but if we see something similar happening here, then we are going to cross that 19 to 20 range before we get to the 40s again. Now, when it does that, you can see it trade sideways for a little bit before climbing back even higher. I mean, this is like nothing compared to what Shiba did. So we're not even close to the middle range yet. That's still 100x or 100% away from us right now. It's currently trading at 11. And right here, we're looking at 20, right? So Shiba did it in 3 days. 4 days it peaked, traded sideways for about 2 to 3 weeks, and then it kept going back up. Because Bitcoin just crossed 30K, that's my confirmation here for these coins to start to rally. But you do have, so following volatility, initial volatility, you do have a period where the markets tend to trade sideways. And I think that's where we're headed right now. If Pepe stops going up here in the short term, my current target is going to be 14. But if it stops going up after that point, and we experience some sideways trading, I think the same thing is going to happen. Here is the actual pattern overlaid on top of Pepe. You can see the levels are the same. Pretty much everything here is hitting the same way. And then right around this range is where we see this massive move, right? So it doesn't have to track one-to-one. There's some pattern, like some gaps in between the chart. But you also have to look at Bitcoin. You have to look at the entire crypto market and see what's happening there to see if that checks out. Because when we start to reach these levels, or these pretty insane levels on Pepe, following the last 3 days, 70%, you do have to make sure that Bitcoin is steady climbing up. And you have to make sure that all these coins are doing the same thing, because then it makes it harder for Pepe to do this entire thing here. Now, when Shiba went up in October, there were a lot of cryptocurrencies that were going up, but not the same way. Like the winner in October was clearly Shiba. I mean, where it did what Doge did back in 2020. So this is why I'm saying, like, they're introducing this meme coin, this like new meme coin, and it did the same thing. They're about to potentially rally it the same way. But again, if it doesn't go up past that 20 range, or past that 14 range of a target that we have right now, and even if it trades sideways up until November time, I think that's where we're going to experience the next rally here, the next phase rally. So very important that we watch out the next few days here going into the end of the week, because if this does not stop, man, if this keeps going, it's very possible that we're going to see these highs here again. And yeah, man, this is just an opportunity in my opinion, but this is what we get, man, for being patient, right? The price goes up, okay? And if it came down to right around that $500 million market cap, we did the math and everything, this would be about an 80% or 80x move, which is over 8,000% return, man. It's a crazy, crazy thing. But here it is, guys. The POIs, the points of interest coming in clutch back again. Very similar approach I take on AMC, okay, except this involves the crypto markets. So it's slightly different, but basically the same kind of analysis that we're doing here, using all these indicators, using the pattern recognition tool that finds similar patterns in the market. And that is what we do. We just find these patterns and make sure that everything else checks off, right? Cycle sector is very important before we find these volatility zones and narrow them down as much as possible. Okay? Guys, this was alerted on the Discord at the bottom, okay? This was alerted right down here. And, the crypto space, crypto leverage space is pretty interesting. It's very different from options, in the stock market. But it's got its ups and downs, right? But the whole point here is waiting for the bottom so that once this thing starts to go up and it's just far away from these lows, I mean, at this point, you're just riding the waves, waiting for the peaks, waiting for your plan, and executing that plan, right? So if you guys want to check out other plays, because there's going to be a lot here in the month of November, and then here, end of October, I think there's a lot of opportunity. Make sure you guys click the link below. It'll take you straight to that Discord. Alrighty. Thank you guys for watching. Post updates here soon. Bye-bye.